This is the Washington Times front page for Thursday, July 8th, 2021. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Former President Donald Trump said he is suing the leadership of Facebook, Google, and Twitter for banning him from their social media platforms. Political advocacy reporter Ryan Lovelace reports Trump said he wants the federal judiciary to intervene and restore his access to accounts on the sites. The suit is being filed in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida. Twitter, Facebook, and Google are all private companies, and users must agree to their terms of service to use their products. Under Section 230 of the 1996 Communications Decency Act, social media platforms are allowed to moderate their services by removing posts that are obscene or violate the service's own standards. The Free Market Competitive Enterprise Institute and other groups argue that the litigation is not serious. In foreign affairs, the Biden administration is scrambling this week to defend its rapid withdrawal from Afghanistan amid a string of Taliban victories that have left the fragile Afghan government on the defensive. Ben Wolfgang reports foreign policy analysts say that President Biden and his aides have been caught flat-footed by how quickly Afghanistan has spiraled out of control without American troops as a failsafe against insurgent gains. Taliban fighters are now targeting provincial capitals as the final U.S. troops exit the country. The Pentagon's insistence that it can keep an eye on developments inside Afghanistan, including the possibility that terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State will find new bases for operations, is also facing a severe early test. Attempts by the United States and others to broker a power-sharing deal between the Taliban and the struggling U.S.-backed government in Kabul have made little progress. A Department of Justice Inspector General report has found that inmates with a known nexus to international or domestic terrorism are leading worship services in some federal prisons because of a shortage of approved chaplains. Mark Kellner reports DOJ IG Michael Horowitz's audit found that terrorist inmates in one facility had led worship services, even though a Bureau of Prisons contracted faith contractor was on the payroll. The report found 2 other facilities where inmates with connections to ISIS or the Al-Shabaab terrorist network were allowed to lead worship services. One of the terrorist-connected inmates did so on a regular basis, according to the report. Horowitz noted that there are only 236 chaplains to serve more than 160,000 federal inmates, and that 2/3 of Bureau of Prison facilities are not meeting staffing minimums, forcing some prisons to turn to alternatives that pose enhanced risks. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. Don't have access to the Times yet? Visit WashingtonTimes.com/George and get 25% off your annual subscription. Congressional reporter Harris Alec looks at the role coal might play in the country's transition from gas-powered to electric vehicles. Coal and its byproducts contain many of the critical minerals necessary to produce electric vehicle batteries. Rare earth minerals, such as europium and terbium, can be found in the sediment under which coal lies. One current problem is that coal ash, produced from the burning of the black rock, holds only trace amounts of rare earth minerals. That means companies need both an abundance of coal ash and a proven way to process it in mass to make a profit. Research into perfecting the coal rare earth mineral process remains in the early stages, largely because research funding has been scarce. And finally, an Iranian dissident movement will hold its annual World Summit virtually this weekend, with supporters at rallies in 105 countries calling for Iran's oppressive theocracy to be overthrown and replaced with a democracy. National Security Team leader Guy Taylor reports organizers say they hope the show of online support will shake Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's regime and inspire uprisings. The effort is organized by the National Council of Resistance of Iran and its associate group, the Exiled People's Mujahideen of Iran. The event has made international headlines in the past, with fiery speeches calling for regime change in Tehran. For many years, it was held in a large airplane hangar on the outskirts of Paris, but it hasn't been held there since 2018, when the Iranian government sought to bomb the event. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and subscribe for free to the front page. Just search Washington Times on your favorite podcast platforms. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times and on Facebook for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.